So we're live on YouTube. Hello. I'm going to go live on Instagram and Facebook, so give me 1 second. Live on Instagram, live on Facebook. Telling everybody that we're going live is what they do next. All right. So here we go. Hey, everybody. It's Saturday. It's 10 a.m. Scam King goes on live. Everybody knows this at 10 a.m. And we go over this week's scams. But we also are going to go over something special today because I think people do not get the concept of insurance companies. Well, in America, you can't be cured. Insurance companies only pay for treatments. They don't pay for cures. Isn't it interesting? And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain how it all works. And I'm going to explain the difference between hormone therapy, for example, that will solve most of your problems, including mental issues, weight issues, mood swing issues, all of these things. And I'm going to explain the difference between Big Pharma and what they'll do and a simple hormone test, what it will do. And doctors, I'm going to explain, have a $50,000 a month nut that they need to crack. And you can't do that if you tell somebody to change their diet and give them a simple blood test for 150 bucks or whatever it costs. And you straighten them right out. There's no profit in that. So their $20,000 a month mortgage, they can't pay that. Their G-Wagon $2,500 lease a month, they can't pay that. $30,000 a miscellaneous credit card, they can't pay that. All right, so as I'm waiting for people to log on, I'm just explaining what we're going to go over today. As you hear my PTSD dog in the background, he's got a friend over. So, so bear with me for 1 second, and then we're going to go over all of this. All right, so it's going to be an awesome live. So if you follow me, you know every Saturday I come on and I tell you what bullshit and douchebaggery is going on, how it's costing you money, and how they're making you sick. These are things that if you follow me, you know I worked for Blackwater from 1997. Prior to that, I was a security agent until they formed Blackwater, but it was the same people. They just gave it a name. And then after that, and still today, if you look my name up, you'll see I am for hire and I do work. All right, so we're going to go with Instagram. Instagram, what do you want me to go over first? This week's scams or the difference between HCG, peptides, and Big Pharma? Because I could do either one. We're waiting on Instagram here because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I had 6 million followers and my accounts got they got suspended. All right, scams. You want to go over this week's scams? All right, no problem at all. We can do that. We can go over this week's scams, and then I'll go over the differences between peptides. Everybody wants to know about peptides. All right. Thank you for your time. HCG, peptide scams. Okay. Let's go over peptides. And let's go over the difference between Big Pharma and peptides and hormone therapy. Because I think people confuse them. I think people believe that hormone therapy, for example, testosterone replacement therapy and estrogen replacement therapy, and the cure for both of those, HCG, is one and the same with Big Pharma. And I gotta tell you, nothing could be further from the truth. The reason why things like HCG were made illegal in the United States of America are because it is the cure for erectile dysfunction for men. It is the cure for the inability to have a baby for men and women. It is the cure for a pineal gland that is glazed over and crystallized, which doesn't allow you enlightenment. Okay? It is the cure for all of those things. All right? So they made it illegal, completely illegal, for you to get HCG over the counter. And then they made it illegal for doctors, hormone therapists, to actually prescribe it. HCG is a natural compound that comes from the placenta of a woman. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when a beautiful woman, I hold women above anything in this world. When a beautiful woman goes in and has a baby, which is basically our basic function here on planet Earth, is to repopulate the Earth, okay? And continue the human race. When she has a baby, some pasty, nasty, fucking lying, cheating, stealing, nasty hospital employee comes in with a cart and steals from the mother the afterbirth and the placenta. Okay? And to make matters worse, after they steal that, the mother would be like, where are you going with my baby parts? You know, like if I was in the room and it was my baby, I'd be like, don't touch that, that belongs to me. They'll say things like, well, we want to do tests on it and make sure the baby's okay. They'll say things like, we're going to do, we're going to, use this for research so we can better the pregnancy experience. Whatever they're going to say is a lie, right from the pits of hell, a lie. What they're really going to do is they're going to sell the afterbirth and the placenta to a compound pharmacy, and that compound pharmacy is going to make fertility drugs from it. That's the truth. So you just gave them $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of the afterbirth and the placenta, which should have went to your family. These are the things that we cover on my page if you don't follow me. Things that you can't see. And so I grew up ultra wealthy. I have a very eclectic background. I was a security agent for Blackwater. I worked in Colombia during the drug wars. I worked for the U.S. government. I worked for the CIA as a subcontractor. I did all these wonderful, beautiful things that allowed me to bring this knowledge to you. So now all I do all day is figure scams out because I can see them while you folks are living your lives. I just bring it to you. So that's why people subscribe to my page. All right, critical thinking is key and belief is everything. It says it right in my bio. So anyway, going back to it, HCG is a cure. So they immediately outlawed it. The only reason why it's now legal again, once again, is because the fertility clinics started going out of business. They started going out of business. Right? Where's the proof of all this information where you're giving us, by the way? Listen, Steve Buckner, I don't need to prove anything to you, sir. It's your life. If you don't believe me, you're the only one that's going to pay the price. That's the beauty. If you want to know what they do with a woman's placenta, okay, you're going to have to research it if you don't believe me. If you want to know what they do with a woman's uterus after they convince her, lie to her, and tell her she needs a hysterectomy, right? They sell those to older women that want to have babies with money. But if you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You can go ahead and keep believing Christopher Columbus discovered America and the earth is round and all that shit. In the meantime, get the fuck off my page so I can continue. All right, so continuing on. So the HCG is the cure for ED. It's the cure for it. It's the cure for not being able to have a baby. It's the cure for it. What it does is it stimulates your pituitary gland. It turns it back on, which is responsible for making testosterone in a man's body. It cuts fat right off of women like nobody's business, and men. And I'm 53. I will never stop taking it. It is a natural compound made in the United States in compound pharmacies that I personally checked out. My superpower is I don't believe anything anybody says. Nothing. I believe nothing people say. Nothing. I have to personally touch it, taste it, feel it, see it, or hear it, and verify it myself. That is what evolved humans do. They just don't ask for proof on social media. All right. They actually use the 5 wounds of Christ: touch, taste, feel, sight, and hearing, to experience life themselves instead of being programmed robots. Right? So I don't want you to believe a word I'm saying. I want you to research this stuff for yourself. But I'm giving you a guideline of what is true. So it is a fact that hospitals lie to people. That's a fact. It is a fact that hospitals tell you you need surgeries and you need medications when you don't. That is a fact. It is a fact that doctors have $50,000 month nuts and cannot tell you the truth. That is a fact. It is a fact that, for example, in my life, they told me I need a full shoulder replacement 15 years ago or I would lose my left arm. That was a lie. The guy wanted the 30 grand for the shoulder replacement from my insurance company. So, these are all facts. But they're facts. I'm bringing you my personal life experiences. So, going back to it, the difference between big pharmaceutical, HCG, hormone therapy, and peptides. Let me first explain what a peptide is. Right? A peptide is an amino acid that your body made that brought you from being 10 years old, for example, a child, to bringing you to adulthood. So peptide is a branch, all it is a branched chain amino acid. That's all peptide is. That's all it is. There's many different kinds. There's hundreds of different kinds. They have them for your nails, for your hair, for your vision. They have them for everything, for pain, for performance. They have them for everything. As a matter of fact, they have one called the Wolverine Protocol, which is what I take. And let me give you an example of what it does. The other day, I worked out, did a full body workout, 2 hours. I then went to Aikido class it was supposed to be 1 hour. I went to Aikido class, that was 3 hours because I went to all 3 classes. Then I went to weapons class. So they were like, how did you do that at 53? How could this happen? And the reason why they call it the Wolverine Protocol is they named it after X-Men. Okay, the X-Men. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but Hugh Jackman in real life takes the Wolverine Protocol. So does Ryan Reynolds. All of them. The guy who plays Aquaman, the guy who plays Thor, Chris Wormsworth, they all take the same thing I take. And what it does, these branched chain amino acids, is when you're a child, it was super fuel for your body just to grow. They figured out everything is military first and then they give it to us. So I was trained by a bunch of Navy SEALs, right? Special Forces guys in some swamp in fucking North Carolina, right? And these guys were not human. And I asked them, how could you do what you do? How do you run 10 miles with this gear on? And I mean, I'm half your age. These guys were older. How? And the fact is, they were introduced, a lot of them, to peptides. So the military figured out that if you reintroduce, because your body stops making them around 18 or 20 years old, if you reintroduce peptides into a 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old person, it does the same thing as when you were young. The peptides literally rebuild damaged tissue. They give your body the fuel to rebuild instead of surgery. You understand? So if you have a full tear rotator cuff and you use body protection compound 157 with TB500 and Tesmorlin together, which is a Wolverine compound, what'll happen is your body will then literally, for example, if you put your fingers in acid and got rid of your fingerprints, they would grow back, right? If you take body protection compounds, peptides in the right combination, it doesn't matter what's wrong with you. This is a cure, right? If you take them, whatever's ailing you will grow back. Your body heals itself with the right diet. I use the ancestral diet. Everybody knows that follows me. And I'll tell you why after I'm done explaining this. The right diet, peptides, and your hormones straight, you will be like you were when you were 20. End of story. No more Zoloft, no more Lexapro, no more Xanax, no more having to have a drink when you get off of work to take the edge off, unless you want to. No more aches, no more pain, no more of all, that's my PTSD dog, by the way. No more any of this. Really? No more any of this, right? You will go back to when you were 20. This is why when you were 20 years old, you could literally eat, drink, and fuck whatever you wanted, and your body wouldn't change. I'm just telling you. It's because your hormones were straight and your body was full of peptides. Just letting you know. FYI. So, all the pro ball players, all of the movie stars, Charlize Theron, the chick that plays Underworld, all of them, they're not aging. Why? Why are they not aging? They're not aging because they're going to hormone specialists, and those hormone specialists, instead of saying to them, so for example, if a man has a 300 testosterone level, he is going to have a heart attack at 55, probably die at 60, 65. This is a statistic you could look up, research. Men have heart attacks every man that has had a heart attack has had a low testosterone level, because for a bunch of reasons. Number one, it's just dangerous for the body not to have testosterone if you're a man, or estrogen if you're a woman. Just dangerous. It's just common sense dangerous, right? Number two, if a man doesn't have testosterone, he gets a beer gut, all that visceral fat. That's bad for your heart. Gains a bunch of weight. A bunch of marriages fail. You know, no woman wants to have her husband. I'm sorry. Love is love. But the truth is, if you really love your husband, you don't want to see him looking like that. You want him to. You want to see him looking like he was when you met him. Truth. Same with a man. If you love your woman, you don't want to see her with no estrogen. You don't want to see her old. You want to see her as she was when you met her. If you love her, you want to see her healthy. Okay? So, the reason why insurance won't pay for peptides and won't pay for HCG, for example, is because they won't pay for a cure. They'll only, or stem cell, they won't pay for a cure. They will only pay for a treatment. So, perfect example, right? Still talking about peptides, HCG, and hormone therapy versus Big Pharma. You go to your regular doctor because you have insurance and you want to use your insurance. I get it, right? You go to them, you get a blood test, right? This is a general practitioner that's going to give you a referral. All right? You go to that doctor, and the doctor says, after he gets your blood work back, hey, sir, your testosterone level is 300. That's the national average. You're fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to put you on blood pressure medication because your blood pressure is a little bit high. And you have no energy. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick you with GLP-1s. We're going to, whatever the plan is, we're going, whatever gives him repeat business is what the plan really is. It's not about your health. It's really more about them making money. So I'm going to refer you to a gastroenterologist so you can have the band put around your stomach and lose 75 pounds, right? This is how he pays his $50,000 a month. None. He can't tell you the truth, or she can't tell you the truth. Indeed. Alls they had to do, right? Alls you had to do, sorry, because you're responsible for your own health and your own safety. They've made that perfectly clear. Instead of going to a general practitioner, going to a general practitioner about hormones is like going to a foot doctor when you have a problem with your eye. They just don't know. I'm sorry to break this to you, but doctors don't know everything. That's why they call it practicing medicine. So if you have no energy, if you gain 75 pounds, if your marriage is in pieces, if you have a cloudy mind, if you have heat flashes at night, if you can't concentrate, on and on and on and on and on. If you've been dieting and can't lose any weight, right? All of that. All of that. It can all be corrected with a simple hormone blood test and then read by a hormone doctor who does not take insurance. And here, I'll do you guys a solid. My number on YouTube is in the description. It's 813-330-6801, 813-330-6801. I'll put it right here on Instagram. Facebook, sorry. That's Instagram. And I'll put it on I'll put it right here on Facebook. This is my personal phone number. Text me, I'll point you in the right direction. It's a remote blood test. It doesn't matter where you are in the United States. California's okay too. They send you the blood test in the mail. You simply take it. It's remote. The test results come back, and I don't deal with doctors. I only deal with nurse practitioners who do not take insurance. They'll call you up and they'll say, hey, great news. All you got to do is change your diet. Or they'll call you up and say, hey, you got a big problem. Your testosterone level is 200. You're at risk for heart attack, stroke, cancer. You already have high blood pressure, on and on and on. Here's how you fix it. Here's the cure. HCG, microdosing HCG like I do, and microdosing testosterone like I do. That was the cure. That was the cure. Ask yourself, is it better to be 75 pounds overweight or to microdose HCG and testosterone? I'm 53. Look at me. I got 20-inch arms, 54-inch chest, 29-inch waist, and 32-inch thighs. I took a 4-hour Aikido class the other night after doing a 2.5 hour full body workout. Impossible at 53 unless your hormones are level and you're on the right diet. So the difference, to end talking about hormones and peptides, and we can talk more, but just to reel it all the way back in and sum it up, is this: they're not paid for by insurance companies, because insurance companies only pay for treatments. So for example, if you go to a fertility clinic, it's not covered by insurance. You have to pay cash for that. Why? Because they know that the doctor is going to give you HCG. It's the cure for not being able to have a baby. Insurance companies don't pay for cures. They pay for treatments. So the difference between a hormone doctor, which is what you have to go to, even if you don't go through me, even if you don't text me and I point you in the right direction, hormone doctor, right? Hormones got to be exactly where they need to be. Or if they're not, if your hormones are not where they need to be, no peptides will help you. No doctor can help you. They will simply give you, if you're moody, oh, you need Zoloft. I got a sister who fucking takes 4 Lexapro a day and thinks she's sane. Listen, I got news for you. I got a divorce a couple years ago. I'm still with her, but we got a divorce, right? I was dating. I was sitting across from somebody who I grew up with, and she says to me some ridiculous thing. I went like this. I put my hand on my face, and I thought to myself, who the fuck am I talking to? Am I talking to Lexapro? Am I talking to Xanax? Am I talking to Zoloft? Who the fuck am I talking to? Do you understand? Do you understand? When the doctor puts you on this shit, you're no longer you. They're mind-bending drugs. I'm sorry. I hate to break the truth to you. They're mind-bending drugs. If you go to a psychiatrist and the psychiatrist doesn't ask you, hey man, what are you eating in a day within the first 15 minutes? Any doctor, but especially a psychiatrist, doesn't ask you what you're eating, run out the fucking door and don't look back. Because a perfect example is, I do the ancestral diet. And I do it, and if you follow me, I talk about it all the time. I do it because I'm a Viking. My people are from the British Isles. If you're Irish, English, German, French, it doesn't matter. If you're from Eastern Europe, the Vikings slept with your grandparents. So, and they did it for a long time. So, you're genetically engineered and genetically designed to only eat what the Vikings ate. Did you realize that? Okay, so I'm only genetically designed to eat meat. I don't even eat vegetables. I just eat meat. Because that's what the Vikings ate. The Vikings ate deer. They ate cows. They ate dogs, cats, horses. They ate pigs. They ate ducks. They ate all these land animals, okay? Because my people were not from the coast. They were from the inner part of the British Isles. You have to find out where your people were 500 years ago. So for example, if your people were from, let's just say, Jamaica, you're not going to follow the carnivore diet that I follow. Your people, odds are, they did fish and vegetables. That's what they ate. You have jungle, right? You have all these exotic fruits. You know they ate that stuff. You got coconuts, you got all the dragon fruit. But if I ate a dragon fruit, total full body inflammation. My body is not designed to eat dragon fruit. So you can't just say to yourself, oh, I want to be a vegetarian. Or, oh, I want to be a vegan. Let me explain this to you. Like somebody had explained to me like I'm 4 years old. Ready? The ground is so hard in most of the world, 9 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year. You can't penetrate it with a shovel. There were no vegans and there were no vegetarians 500 years ago. This is a scam, exactly like the food table. We know now that the food table causes diabetes and obesity. You know, the one that they set out in the 70s, the food table, right? People started following it when they did. By the 90s, everybody was heavier, and then they came out with GMO food, genetically engineered food, genetically modified food, and the genetically modified food causes genetically modified cells in the human body, which causes what? Cancer. So cancer spiked by 1993, and it's never come down, which is why the hospitals are getting bigger and our lifespans are going down. Why? Because the U.S. healthcare system is designed to make money, just like every other business in the United States. It's not designed to cure you. The only cures that they have in a hospital are antibiotics. That's all they have. Everything else is a treatment. Tell me I'm wrong. Someone, please, tell me I am wrong. I'm not. You know I'm right. So, insurance is not going to help you. It's a scam. It's a scam. Self-pay. It's cheaper anyway. And rather than taking what, 200, 300, 400 hours out of your paycheck, you just fucking worked 80 hours over the last 2 weeks. And it's gone in 45 minutes. Why? Well, you got a phony 401k that's manipulated in the stock market. You got insurance that you fucking never use, and you want to use it so bad. You literally psychosomatics. You oh, something's wrong with me. I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to use this insurance. You got a stupid copay, which is the same. This is the rope-a-dope about insurance. They just collect your money at the end of the week. It's a fucking scam. And the copay is really what the hospital visit or doctor visit cost. That's the truth. I had a doctor who opened up, I grew up around ultra wealthy people, and they would sit around at the yacht club and they would say, I have a boat, and you know what the boat's called? And I was like, what? And he's like, copay. True story. True story. So what you have to do is you have to use logic and common sense and say, okay, this guy's telling me I'm probably designed to eat what my ancestors ate 500 years ago. That's probably true. Why would I believe that? Because it's probably true. I'm from Africa. I'm probably designed to eat gazelle, bison, all that shit over there. I'm probably not designed to eat fucking chicken and waffles at table 22 in Tampa. Maybe that's why I'm 75, 80 pounds overweight. So maybe I'm going to take not even a full day, 2 hours, talk to my grandmother, find out what her people ate. Because remember, in the 70s, there were no fat people. And the reason why is because your grandmother taught your mother how to cook. And your grandmother's mother and her mother before her, and 10 generations back is 500 years, just so you know. All of those people, by accident, on purpose, cooked ethnic food for you that you were designed to eat, which was why there was no fat people in the 70s. Case and point, boom, Done. So there is no one diet for everybody that works. The diet is what you were designed to eat. If you're from the British Isles, it's the carnivore diet. Uh, if you're from Jamaica, probably fish. If you're from Africa, if it's the inner part of Africa, probably carnivore diet. If you're from the coast of Africa, maybe fish. You're gonna have to figure that one out. You're gonna do fish for a little while. If you're not losing any weight and your insulin level still spiked, you're gonna go ahead and do the carnivore diet. Okay, so I'm just telling you, it's a simple. That also is a simple test. You could do ancestry.com. You can go. You can do any of those, and it'll tell you exactly what tribe your people are from if you care enough, and you do the full package. It's like $100. So, carnivore diet, and then what you're going to do is you text me if you want to know. Here's how you. Okay, here's how I lost 97 pounds in 68 days. Ready? I started eating only what my ancestors ate 500 years ago. So, you're going to do that. Then, you're going to go and you're going to text me, and I'm going to point you in a direction. I'm not going to send you a link. There's no money to be made here. I'm passing this information forward. 6801. And there's thousands. It looks like, yeah. All right. 813-330-6801 YouTube. It's in the description of this video, my phone number. Text me. I give you the information on the remote blood test. You don't have to leave your house. They send it to you, right? You do the blood test. You send it back. A nurse practitioner calls you and tells you what you need or what you don't need. Until you've watched this live, you've been fucking guessing, which is why you're 60 pounds overweight, which is why you have no energy, which is why you have heat flashes, which is why you're in bed by 6:30, 7 o'clock, which is why you drink your problems away, which is why you've been just fucked up for the last 25 years. If you want to fix that, text me. It's just that simple. All right? If you want to look like this at 53, hey, look, I can't do nothing about the face. I sweat a lot, so I got acne. I've had acne my whole life bad. They thought I did steroids when I was young. And honestly, I needed an identity, so I just went with it. But look, still broke out. I just have bad skin. It's actually, just so you know, acne is staph infection on your skin. Some people carry staph on their skin. So if your child has acne, have them tested for staph because that's what they have on their skin, which is what causes acne in adolescence, FYI. I have staph on my skin now. When I got shot in both my legs and through my side, which is why you see me carry guns everywhere, still, besides the death threats I get for exposing all these scams, I have staph. So when I walk down a fucking road shop for 4 miles and half my face gone and just fucked up in Colombia, I get to this, I don't go to hospitals, so I had to go to this triage that they had set up in this town, and the worker there said, you tested positive for staph, you have staph. And I learned when I got back to the States that I have staph all over my body. I have no acne on my body at all. It just comes out in your face if you have, I don't know why, I'm not a doctor, I'm just telling you. If you have acne, go get tested for staph. Okay? There's hundreds of people texting me. I will text you all back after this live. So, now you know the difference between Big Pharma and HCG is a cure. Hormone therapy is a cure. It's a cure for heart attacks, diseases. It's a cure for a weak immune system. If your hormone level is not, if you're a man, okay, and your hormones are not, if your testosterone level's not at 1,000, you're not a man. You're a woman. If you're a woman and you have no estrogen for whatever reason, it's not your fault. It's the food. You're not a woman. You're a man. The food is designed to turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man. It's a very easy thing to do. Take a man's testosterone level away, give him estrogen, make his body create estrogen, and same thing on a woman. Take her estrogen away, give her testosterone. This is what these preservatives, this is what GMO foods do. And eating the wrong shit that you're not designed to eat. All right? If you're African American, you're not designed to eat the food that you eat. This is why you're the #1 heart attack victim. It's not because people are targeting you. No, it's because what you choose to eat. I'm so sorry. You have to eat what your lineage ate back in Africa. Same thing, Jamaican, South American, whatever your people ate, Chinese. Now, understand, if you're from South America or China, and you think Chinese people eat rice, the only people gorging themselves on fucking rice and wonton soup and shrimp lo mein are Americans. Chinese people don't eat rice. If they do, it's a very small portion off to the side. They don't eat noodles. If they do, it's a very small portion off to the side. It's like a side dish. A Chinese diet or an Asian diet consists of 25% meat, 75% vegetables. These are facts. All right, got it? If you're from South America, your diet consists of 25% meat, 75% vegetables. Okay? Nada arepas. No, none of that. I'm sorry, Italians, there was no pasta 500 years ago. There wasn't. I'm sorry, Slavics. You know, there was no crepes 500 years ago. We didn't eat crepes. You ate cows, dogs, cats, chickens. Okay? That's what you ate. So, here's the steps, and then I'm going to move on to to everything else. If you need to know where to buy meat that does not have hormones, that does not have vaccines in it, text me. I'll show you where I buy my meat. Okay, that's number one. Hormones. There were no hormones. Animals, just so you know, don't need vaccines and they don't need hormones. Okay? The reason why animals that we buy today, you can't buy in Whole Foods, for example, meat that hasn't been vaccinated and meat that hasn't been pumped full of hormones. You can't buy it at Publix. You can't buy it anywhere unless you buy grass-fed and finished meat from there, which comes prepackaged, and I'll explain that, why it's prepackaged. You cannot, all right? Even if it says it is, it's not. And here's why. I'll prove it to you. My cousins own one of the biggest growing farms and cattle farms in the state of New Jersey. Okay, you can look it up. Which is why I have a video with 100 million views on my Instagram page where it says, if you want to live, you can't eat here. That video throughout all the platforms has 100 million views. All right, and it has my cousin's farm information on it. My cousins told me that, and they do not do this, just to be crystal clear, my cousins refuse to use GMO food, grain for their animals. They refuse to use GMO seed for their vegetables. They refuse. Since they refuse, they're not allowed to sell to places like Outback Steakhouse, Lone Star, Denny's, Publix, ShopRite, Winn-Dixie, Food Lion, any Whole Foods, any of those at all. As a matter of fact, not only that, but they can't even get insurance on their crop because they're huge corn farmers. So if the crop freezes, no insurance. Why? Because the FDA, the United States government owns every business in the United States, and they own it through mandate and protocol. What do I mean by that? They own Tesla, they own Microsoft. You guys are all mad at Bill Gates. You have no idea. They own Microsoft. They own SpaceX. They own Apple. The U.S. government owns every farm, every trucking company, every hospital, every insurance company, everything, because they pass down mandate to these companies and protocol, which is a set of rules you have to follow if you want to do business in the United States. So as a farmer, unless you follow that protocol, you're not allowed to get insurance, and you're not allowed to sell to any chains. You can only stay small farm and sell to the open public. Research it. Call me a liar. It's the truth. Which is why my cousins, it's a growing farm. People walk up there, they got a great name, and the reason why they have a great name is because they don't use any of that shit. And you know what? None of their animals are sick. I had other cousins who were dairy farmers. They're out of business. Why? Why is that farm shut down? It's shut down because the FDA came in and said, unless you feed these animals GMO food, you're not allowed to sell milk anymore to the grocery stores. That's the whole business. So my other cousins said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to try it. So they had no choice. You're talking about a farm that's been in business for 100 years. So insurance company says you're not getting insurance on the farm. You're not doing anything unless you use this GMO feed. It's all driven by money. It's all driven. It's not about public safety with farms or the United States. The United States protects insurance companies. Insurance companies protect themselves. They don't protect you. So the insurance company says, well, unless they use genetically modified feed that fights off COVID in cows, we're not going to insure these animals. Therefore, they don't comply with federal protocol. Therefore, you're not allowed to sell the milk to any of the grocery stores anymore. Boom, put my cousins right out of business. Before they did, though, I did speak to my one cousin, and he said that all his animals were sick. He said the moment that they switched from grass-fed, bales of hay, grass, their animals, all of them got sick. Once they got sick, that's when they needed the vaccines. Okay, they got malnutrition now. Now they're not only sick, they're dehydrated. Boom, pump them full of steroids to keep them back up. This is the protocol of the insurance companies that protect themselves. Unless, a perfect example is this: if you go to Outback Steakhouse tonight for dinner, just Outback Steakhouse, and you order yourself a 8-ounce filet, a baked potato on the side, loaded, and some vegetables, you just ate 85% of what Big Pharma makes. Because Big Pharma's number one customer is big agriculture. 85% of everything Big Pharmaceutical makes is sold to big agriculture. Put in those animals and you are what you eat. FYI. So if you need to know where to buy your meat that doesn't have any of that shit in it, text me. Alright? Now, I just told you for free why your hormone levels are off and why you're taking Zoloft, Lexapro, Xanax, why you need a drink at night, why you're 70 pounds overweight. I just told you why. The hormones have thrown your hormones off, and without hormones, you're not a man at all. You're a woman. And without hormones, ma'am, you're getting old quick. You're getting old quick. and you're going to get cancer. 47% of the American public has cancer because of GMO foods. That is a fact. You can go ahead and look that up. All right, so that's it. Anybody got any more questions about peptides and hormone therapy at all? Peptides and hormone therapy. Peptides and hormone therapy versus Big Pharma. I'll put my number up one more time. Look, and I'm going to say this. I mean, you heard me set the, I don't talk shit. I say shit to people's faces. And I'm not trying to change your life. I'm not trying to prove anything to you. If you can't see, I'm Generation X, and Generation X was around before all this shit. Before the GMO foods, before all this shit, Generation X was around. All right, we're the oldest generation on the planet that's never started a war. So there's something to be said about that. We're evolved. We're here to pick up the pieces after the reset, because we dated, we worked, we were adults without cell phones and computers. Anybody younger than us didn't, and doesn't know the difference between reality and virtual reality. This is a fact. This is a fact. You have an idea, but you never lived life, experienced life without technology like that. We're the only ones alive, and we're the only ones that never started a war. All right? Therefore, we're the strongest and smartest amongst you. I don't care if you like that statement or not. It's true. History condemns you if you deny what I just said. So gone are the days of the assumption of safety and security in the United States and just trusting what your doctor says. They've always told you get a second, third opinion. All right? So, for example, the food they're now selling, they went fucking way past GMO foods. Now they're selling fake food called genetically engineered food, which isn't even food, it's fake. You walk into the grocery store, everybody, I've done it, everybody, I'm not picking on anybody. You walk into the fucking grocery store, you look on the shelves, you're assuming some asshole somewhere checked this shit out to make sure it's okay for you to eat. Right? You're assuming somebody with a fucking degree, who went to college, which is the problem. But you're assuming just in society that somebody checked this shit out to make sure it was okay for you to eat, right? Call me a liar. You grab something off the shelf, your cart's full, you got the bread that lasts a month, you got the milk that lasts a month, you got the cold cuts that are full of carcinogens and they're not even real anymore, from Boar's Head. You got it all. You went to Whole Foods, listen, you have a learning disability. If you go to Whole Foods and you look at that fruit and vegetables that they got, and you think that shit looks like that in real life, that's all fake. And when you eat it, it causes abnormal cells in your body, which causes cancer. 47% of the American public has cancer. The only common denominator is the food. Right? But we assume, but here's the evil in this. They know that you assume that the food is safe. They know that you trust that the food is safe. Therefore, you buy it, you feed it to your children, and next thing you know, you have cancer. 47% of the United States has cancer right now. That is a fact. So the ancestral diet will stop that. Buying meat without hormones and without vaccinations will stop that. Getting a blood test once a year, again, you have a learning disability if you don't get a blood test once a year and you live in the United States. No, organic milk is not okay. Somebody just texted me. People only drank milk when there was a famine. Do you understand? People only ate vegetables when there was no meat available or fish. Do you get it? No one in the history of human beings, except in the last 100 years, has said, I'm going to be a vegan. I'm going to eat Play-Doh plastic food because this is what we're going to do. I'm going to drink milk from a cow, from another animal. Have you ever seen a cow? It's disgusting. Why don't you just drink milk from, I don't know, anything? If you're going to drink milk from a cow, why don't you drink milk from, So soy milk. All right, so here's a perfect example. Soy milk, right? Here's the question. Is soy milk okay? I just got a question, right? Well, let me ask you a question. Were your people drinking soy milk 500 years ago? The answer's fucking no. So, no, it's not okay. Is it okay for you to, it might be real, they call it food, but it's not your body's design if you're from, drink rat milk. Just drink rat milk if you're going to drink milk. What's the difference? If your body's not designed to drink soy milk, almond milk, grapes, for example, I can't have grapes, which means I can't drink wine. Because my people never drank fucking grapes. I'm not from France. Okay? You got it? Goat's milk. No. If your the only time people ate or drank any type of milk from any other animal was when great famine hit the land. Come on. You're not designed to eat that. You just can't. If you're Slovak, if you're Russian like I am, Slovak, same thing. Slovak means slave, by the way, in Viking, right? If you were a slave, right? If you're a Slovak, you can't walk into a pizza place and have a slice of pizza every day for lunch. You can't. People didn't eat the bread that you're eating now. Okay. I don't want to get off subject. Here's the bottom line. If you want to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds, here's what you do. Find out what your people ate 500 years ago. You eat the same shit. You don't need drugs. You don't need nothing. You're just going to be a smaller version of you. You're going to lose 50, 60 pounds immediately. I lost 97 pounds in 68 days doing it. Okay? But I looked horrible because my hormones were off and my skin was hanging off me. So I got my hormones back by doing a simple blood test, and I got my skin tight. I have an 8-pack of abs. If you follow me, you know this. I got all this shit straight by taking peptides, body protection compound 157, TB 500, all right? And it tightened my skin back up, and I look like $1 million, bruh. It's up to you. The choice is yours. If you truly believe that microdosing testosterone and microdosing HCG is bad for you, but holding 50, 60, 70 pounds around your waist, having a muffin top, having a dick do, if you truly believe that that's more healthy, have at it. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just giving you options. I'm just giving you options, man. All right? So step number 1, go on the ancestral diet. Step number 2, text me, and I will point you in the right direction for the remote blood test. You take the remote blood test, a nurse practitioner calls you up less than a week later and says, this is what you need to live to be 120 years old. This is what you need to be fit. This is what you need to fit your body frame. You know, I'm 6'2", 240, 8-pack of abs. You see me in the gym, dude. If you guys watching from Tampa, go to Crunch Fitness, you see me in the gym. You know what I'm about. Total beast mode. All right, why? It's not because of steroids. It's not because it's a combination of the right diet and microdosing HCG and testosterone, keeping my testosterone level at 1800. Remote, yeah, okay. If you want the remote blood test, like I said, I hate to look. This is social media, okay? I'm not sending any links. I'm passing information forward. I'm not trying to prove anything to you. I just want you to awaken and understand all is not what it seems, which is what my whole page is about. It's my whole page. So text me. I point you in the right direction for a remote blood test no matter where you are in the United States. Nurse practitioner calls you up and says, hey, you need this, that, and the third, or you need nothing, right? And they ship it right to your house. And it's from a pharmacy. Like, for example, my superpower is to believe fucking nothing anybody ever says. I believe nothing people say. I've had family steal from me. I worked for Blackwater. I had the government lie to me. I was expendable. You ever see the movie Expendables? You ever see the movie Savages? That was my life. I guarded coke fields in Colombia for the CIA as a subcontractor. There, I said it. All right? Working for Blackwater. That's what I did in the 1990s. The government lies. All right? So I believe, and I believe nothing anybody says. So I'm trying to save your life by telling you the peptides are the cure. HCG is the cure. Getting your testosterone level where it needs to be and your estrogen level is the cure. Not Zoloft, not Lexapro, not Xanax, not alcohol, not heroin or Oxycontins for pain. None of that shit. Not surgery in most cases. Not shoulder replacement or hip replacements. Not a hysterectomy. Okay? The cure is going back to when you were 20 years old and your hormones were straight. That's the cure. And this is the path to doing that. But going back to my point, I believe nothing anybody says. So the first time I dealt with these people, I said, listen, I want to go pick my drugs up. And they're like, what? We ship it. I'm like, listen, I fucking believe nothing anybody ever says. I want to go to the pharmacy and make sure it's not made in some Mexican bathtub somewhere, like the shit they sell on the internet, which is why I'm not sending you any links. I'm not trying to sell you anything. So here is the pharmacy, right? Strive. It's called Strive, right? It's right here in Tampa. I literally drove and there's no customer service, right, at this pharmacy. They thought I was nuts. I walked in. Of course, I was armed. They were like, yes, sir, what can we do for you? I was like, I just want to make sure that the fucking people mixing up my shit wash their hands. You know, that's my personality, right? So I literally watched them making these compounds out of the placenta of a woman and the afterbirth. I watched it. I sat and watched it at the one pharmacy in St. Pete. So, and again, so here's another example. These are the drugs I take. So this is what Sylvester Stallone takes at 80 years old, why he looks jacked. Hugh Jackman takes. This is what Charlize Thornton takes. I can't say her last name. All of them take this. This was out of your reach because it was so expensive. This right here. This was out of your reach because it was so expensive. Now it's not. It's called Tessmorelin. All right, so I'll go through it. Tessmorelin, right there. Tessmorelin. Tessmorelin. Tessmorelin, all right? Tessmorelin. This is a peptide from the pharmacy I just showed you, or one like it, because there's multiple pharmacies I went to. And this drug, what it does is, once you lose a shit ton of weight, I had skin hanging off of me. It was disgusting. I did. I had skin, you couldn't even see my abs. I had like maybe a 9%, 8% body fat. You couldn't even see my abs. I had extra skin on my legs. It was disgusting and gross. I had skin hanging off the back of my arms. I had skin. I had skin, extra skin. I looked like shit. I looked better heavy, which is what happens when you've been. Most of you that are 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight are not fat. It's not fat, which is why you can't lose it by going on a diet. You can't lose it by not eating, fasting. You can't lose it by exercise. You can't. It's a waste of time. You might as well go to the club. Most of it is inflammation, right? But it stretches your skin out. So once you get on the ancestral diet and your body goes like this, woof, you're just a smaller version now of you when you were big. You girls can't show their stomachs. It's you know, you still got, you know, the flab. It's just nothing good, right? Yeah, here's my number. Nothing good, you know. Here's my number. People are asking for my number, guys. 6801. All right, my number YouTube is in the comments. 813-330-6801. So, you know, you cannot under any circumstances, the skin you need, you go to a doctor's going to be like, you need fucking surgery, dude. There's no way to get rid of this extra skin that you have. That's a lie. That's a fucking straight up lie. You go to a plastic surgeon, that's a lie. Take Testmorlin, your skin goes like this. Woof. I have a 29-inch waist. I have a 29-inch waist. If you've seen me with my shirt off, you know this. If you follow me and you saw me out in the rain, you see my freaky. So let me show you the rest of the drugs I take. Ready? I microdose this shit. Microdose. The key word, microdose. Not taking the drugs, microdose. So Testmorlin, microdose, right? More is not better. Also take, here it is. I microdose this with an insulin needle, okay? Microdose, I'm making you aware. I'm raising awareness. Microdose this drug, right? I have an 1800 testosterone level. You know what that means? That means 1,000 years ago, I'd be on horseback lobbing people's fucking heads off with a battle axe. And you guys with a 300 testosterone level would be hiding with the women behind a log somewhere, but I would get you. That's what that means. So there's that. Then, because like I said, I take 2 different types of martial arts, right? Combat training. And I also work out crazy, but I have been shot twice in my legs, once in my side, spinal stenosis in my back, which is going away because of the peptides, which is way better. I wouldn't be even talking to you. All right, I couldn't walk for 7 months. That's how bad it was. Spinal stenosis in my lower back. Okay, I take this. Now this, I'm making you aware. This, bodybuilders used to take this back in the day. It's called Deca. There it is. Deca. That's what it's called. Deca. I take this because this rebuilds your joints. Okay? These are the cures. Insurance doesn't cover it. It doesn't. It doesn't cover it. So what the doctor will do is, you go to the fatal error is to go to your general practitioner. Like I said, you wouldn't go to a foot doctor if you had something in your eye, so why would you go to a general practitioner? for hormones. You just wouldn't. You just can't. You just don't. All right. And it's all about insurance. They want you to go to your general practitioner, and you want to go to your general practitioner because you're conditioned this way. But you can't. You can't. It's not. Insurance companies, like I said, they pay for treatments only, right? These drugs, treatments must be expensive. No, they're not. They're not expensive. They're not expensive at all. Listen, I'll tell you what's expensive. Chemotherapy is expensive because you can't go to work when you're taking chemo. You're going to be sick. It's expensive to die. It's really, really expensive to die these days. Okay? Not only that, but you don't get to enjoy it. Right? It's really expensive to get a fucking divorce because you don't want to have sex with your husband. So he goes and finds another girl. Or your wife is looking at you while you watch football wearing another man's name on your back, a jersey, right? With a beer gut out to here, right? You're drinking there with your friends. You guys all look like shit. It's really expensive. When she goes out and finds some dude and mandingos her. And if you don't think, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, I'm just saying if the woman loves you, she doesn't want you looking like that. And you're wearing another guy's you're wearing another dude's name on your back. Watching a football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, game, you've assumed the identity of the other person that's on TV whose life did work out because your fucking identity sucks and you can't stand it. So you want to be that person. So you're sitting there holding your fucking hockey stick like the coach is gonna call you in next because your identity sucks and you hate yourself. Don't be that guy. Don't wear another man's name on your back. All right? Remember back in high school, your girl wore your name on her back to let everybody know you were an alpha male and she belonged to you. Now all of a sudden, you're wearing another man's name on your back because you had expectation on life. It didn't work out. That's from low testosterone. It fucks with your brain having low testosterone. It makes you think your girl's cheating on you. Do you know men that beat their women have low testosterone? That's fact. It does shitty shit to you. And I'm just telling you, man, it does shitty things to you. You can't lose weight. You die young. If you want, listen, I'm going to die at 120. I've got a little bit long and healthy life. And why I'm going to do that is because I stay super active. I get a blood test 3 times a year. I don't know if you know this if you follow me, but I had MS. I don't have MS anymore. And the reason why I don't have MS anymore is because I took peptides, and the next CAT scan I got, right, a year later, the shit was gone. They can't explain it, but I know what did it. I know exactly what did it. I know which hormones did it, and I know exactly which peptides did it. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't need to prove that to anybody. This is objective fact. I do not have MS. And all of my other issues went as well. So, that's it. All right? I need to go over my scams before my phones die. Does anybody have any more questions about peptides? Hormone therapy? Does anybody need help with their diet? If you do, if you have questions, if you're curious, here's my phone number again. I'm going to give it again. All right, please, this is my direct number. Text me. You can't call me. I simply just don't have time to talk to people. I'm just being honest. Unless you're super hot and you're a chick, and then I'll make fucking time. Other than that, guys, this dog only hunts one way. Just so you know. No, if you need anything, just text me, man. If we gotta talk, we gotta talk. All right? Just the way it is, right? So if you need anything, text me. But look, DECA, HCG, testosterone. What was the other one? Okay, so I take DECA, HCG, and Testmorelin, which make I haven't taken Tesmorlin because what happened was you don't take these drugs forever because it's the cure. Once you're cured, you don't take the shit anymore. All right? I took, what happened was I went on the ancestral diet and I lost 97 pounds in 68 days. I literally went all the way down to 200, but when I did, I didn't know it, but I was diabetic. You probably don't know it, but you probably have type 2 diabetes. And what I mean by that is if you eat one half of a bagel in the morning before, or one piece of toast with jelly, or some oodles with noodles, whatever that is, it has something in it called modified enriched wheat gluten, which was designed by the FDA to spike your insulin level. Insulin has one job, and it has two jobs, but the main job it has is to tell your body it's no longer allowed to eat the fat that's stored on it. So when you eat one piece of fake bread or it doesn't matter, you go to Whole Foods and you buy, have that bakery in the back, look at the ingredients, everything says modified enriched wheat gluten. Never put that in your mouth. One half of a bagel spikes your insulin level for 2 weeks. Once your insulin level is spiked, your body's shut down and you no longer have the ability to burn fat. It only burns the coffee and sugar that's in your bloodstream. That's it. And the food that's still in your bloodstream. That is it. That is it. That's it. I'll tell you what the other one was. Give me 1 second. Let me explain this. So, by accident, I figured this out. I was diabetic. I was like right at I was at 350, I went to 290, and then I went on this diet, right? Not diet, just I started eating what my people ate 500 years ago, and I went woof, and people were like, dude, you need to get a blood test. You got fucking cancer. You look like shit. You lost way too much weight, like it was scary. My waist went from 44 to 33 in 68 days. It wasn't fat, it was body inflammation. Okay? You got it? So, lost my train of thought. So, first step is to go onto this ancestral diet. Once you're on that and you lose all that weight, you're going to look like a mini version of your old self. But you're going to look like a smaller version. You're going to look like shit. Now you have to fix your skin and you have to raise your testosterone. So you're out of danger for cancer, you're out of danger to be sick because only the strong survive, so your immune system has to be restored, rebooted. You now have to all of the damage you've done for the last 25 years eating the wrong shit, 50 years eating the wrong shit, you have to fix that. Your body simply can't do it on its own. You need peptides, in some cases. You need to have in all cases, you need to have your hormones straight. Okay? So, I'm telling you this because the peptides are the cure. The peptides are the cure. So what you do is you take the peptides until your skin elasticity comes back. Then you don't have to take it anymore. I don't take Tesmorlin anymore. It's an old bottle. I finished it. I don't have to take it anymore. But I do microdose, and I mean microdose. On a insulin needle, I take 0.40 testosterone, and I take 0.3 deca on an insulin needle units. 3.3 units of deca, and half of a cc of testosterone, which is 5.0 units or 0.5 units. I don't know, whatever it is on the needle. Depends. The needles. It depends what manufacturer it is, but it's half of a regular dose. I microdose it, which is why I've been able to look this way and to outperform people half my age. You don't take a lot of this shit. You microdose it. It's cheaper. It lasts longer. You just take a little bit. All right? Cuts the fat off you. HCG, I take 0.10 units twice a week. It's nothing. The bottle lasts 6 months. So it was Deca, HCG, Tesmorelin, and body protection compound 157, which is pen and Deca arginate, which it doesn't matter. If you text me and tell the nurse practitioner what's ailing you, they're the ones that are going to tell you what you need, not me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling you how I stay fit. This is what I do for a living. I'm in security. You can Google my name, go to LinkedIn. I'm $1,350 an hour, billable per hour to protect you. Okay? That's my job. So I have to stay looking like this and being like this. All right? This is why movie stars like The Rock, like Chris Wormsworth, Hugh Jackman, you know, all of them, all the females. You look at all of them. You look at J-Lo. Dude, you think she looks like that? That's not plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is a thing of the fucking past. These people are taking peptides. Do not kid yourself. And they're not that expensive. They're microdosing peptides. And after a while, after you've microdosed peptides for a while, you literally, I've looked in the mirror, like I'm not taking them now, right? I've looked in the mirror after taking Tesmorelin, and my girlfriend was like, dude, you look 20 years younger. And I swear to you, there's a video on my page that I took 7 months ago, right? Where I was 225, I'm 240 now, muscle-wise, but my face isn't as thin. But I literally looked 10 years younger than I look right now. I'm not kidding you, man. It does something to your eyes. It is just fucking magic, dude. And it's not too good to be true because it ain't free. All right? But the shit works. So I'm just telling you, don't go get your face lifted. Don't go get plastic surgery. Do performance peptides. Okay? Please. And you will see why Charlize Thornton, or whatever the fuck her name is, never ages. Do you really think my girlfriend in my head, Stacey Dash, looks the way she looks naturally? I mean, you watch her videos of her dancing, but if you see her, I've never seen one movie she's been in. I'm in love with the woman. I literally heard her talk, and I saw her face, and she just, I know if I ever got to meet her in real life, we would click. But she just, look at her. She's not had any plastic surgery, like everybody's talking shit. I can't stand how people talk shit on this woman. That's why I did a video of defending her, right? I can't stand it, dude. She's the nicest person on the planet. Good Catholic girl. What the fuck? Right? But she looks that way because she takes care of herself. She deserves it. That's it. If you don't, listen, if you're not worth a couple $100 a month, I don't know what to fucking tell you. If you have no self-worth, I'm sorry. I can't help you with that one. I don't have a guy for that. You need to, that's a hormone problem. It's because your estrogen is off or your testosterone is off. So there's that. All right, so anybody else have any more questions at all about peptides, HCG? Anybody, before I move on? I know there's a delay on these things. So anybody have any more questions? If you go through me, just ask them when I'm on, and I'll tell them, you know, whatever. They'll call me, and I'll say, yeah, go ahead and tell them. If you're confused, there's so many peptides. There's so many different hormones and drugs, and I'm just not qualified to tell you. I walked in that motherfucker and said, make me look like Inhuman. And they're like, okay. I was like, without hurting me. I don't wanna be this bodybuilder who dies young. Just make me look inhuman. And they did. You see me in person, I do not look like I can just tell you that I can just tell you that I don't look like the average 53-year-old person, for sure. All right, so that's it. Anybody else? No more questions? So let's go over the scams of the week, because there's so fucking many of them. They make me sick. They make me want to vomit. Okay. The power grid in residential areas. Did anybody see the video that I did? I just posted this morning. There's another video I'm posting on this tomorrow. The power grid is kicking out so much EMF that little kids are getting leukemia and they can't figure out why. Well, they know why. They're doing it in upper class neighborhoods because they know that those people are the people with insurance. Let me say it again for the people in the back. The power grids, the stations where you see all the, they're fenced off, high voltage, throws off so much EMF. It's like sitting in your electric car when it's charging. You're getting hit with a Tesla of non-ionizing radiation. Now, non-ionizing radiation, we were told, is not bad for you. The sun throws off non-ionizing radiation, right? We were told it's not bad for you. Ionizing radiation, like when you get when you turn around and you get when you get an X-ray, that's ionizing radiation. That's bad for you. Got it? So there's the difference. The only problem with that lie is if non-ionizing radiation was not bad for you, you'd be able to go out in the sun indefinitely and not get sunburn or sun poisoning. So clearly, that's a fucking scam and a lie. Ionizing radiation is bad for you. So when you live next to a power grid that's throwing off an EMF field that will give young kids leukemia, because that is the side effect, I thought I should do a video on that. And this happened in South Tampa. This happened this morning. You can watch the video, it's on my page. You can vote on it. All of my videos you can vote on. You can look, there's a poll. And I'm telling you now, this is a real thing. And I'm telling you now, they're doing it in neighborhoods where people have good insurance. This is why they're building a new wing at Tampa General. All right? Why, if technology doubles every 7 days with AI, are the hospitals getting bigger and our lifespan going down? It's the only question you have to ask yourself. Because everything is economically driven by money. Obviously, the economy is driven by money, and the number one thing is clearly your body. It's the target. It is a money maker for them. So they don't care, and how they could correct it is easily correct this is by, and this is why I wear things like this. Okay. I wear this because when I walk through an EMF field or an RF, radio frequency field, just so you know, 5G stands for 5th generation frequency. 6G, 6th generation frequency, 4G, 4th generation frequency. The higher the frequency, the shorter the range, the more damage it does to the human body. So when you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you start thinking about killing someone, or your mood swings, or you get nauseous, it's because you drove through an EMF field without one of these on. Now you might say, how does this little piece of copper or graphite help you out? What it does is it puts up a shield. Imagine a EMF shield right in front of me. So no matter what's coming at me, it doesn't penetrate the shield. That's what this does. You can buy it on Amazon for $99. I'm not sending you a link because I'm not trying to make money off you. I'm just telling you now. The people who live though in these areas, there's no helping them. The city and the power company should be sued out of fucking existence. They could easily put an EMF wall up. And if you watch the video that's on my page, there's a fake EMF wall on where I was at, right? Fake protection wall, doesn't do shit. And you can see that on the video. So there's that. Next scam. UPS open package scam going around. So what happens is the vendor, not UPS, but the vendor itself, sends you a box that's damaged. UPS picks it up. So UPS should basically say, hey, UPS should basically say, hey, we're not taking this package because it's fucking damaged. But they don't. They just want money. So they pick up from these vendors that you buy off of Amazon, if you buy off of any of these online. The new scam is they'll send out a damaged box, and then when you go to return this motherfucker, just like on remember the scam on what was that website called? PayPal came from it. Wasn't Craigslist. It was before Amazon. What was that other website? It's still around. Oh, what's the website where people buy things? It's the CEO of PayPal started this woman. What was it called? I don't know. There was a scam where they would scam that you would buy a chandelier, or you would buy cameras off of this website. It was huge. I can't believe I don't remember the name of this website. Anyway, that scam is now, by the way, on Amazon. But this is how it works. They send you a damaged box, and then they say to you, it's $75 to return. It's $75 to return. So what you have to do to beat this scam is you have to deny delivery. You can't allow them to take it off the truck. Or it's going to cost you $75 to return it. eBay. That was the name of can't believe I didn't remember that. eBay. So eBay, you would buy a chandelier, it would come and it would have European electrical hookup. Well, we're in America, so we use alternating current here. Right, eBay, right. And then you would call the people back for the cameras or the chandelier, and they would say, yeah, no problem, we'll take it back at $75 shipping. That scam is back, but it's with UPS. So if you're getting anything from UPS, do your, like furniture, for example, do yourself a favor and be home when that package comes, or you will find it on your doorstep half open and missing pieces, and it's a scam. It's going to cost you $75 to replace. Okay, so that's real as well on my page. This next one was my favorite of the week. This next one was the favorite of the week. The favorite of the week was the police cruisers. Ready for this? I don't know who saw this video on my page. This is the biggest fucking scam, privacy scam ever. The police cruisers are now equipped with AI. So, if you get pulled over, AI through the cameras on the lights, right? Every light you went through that day, that week, that month, AI puts together a map where you were that day for the police officer. So if the police officer says, where you been? he's trying to get probable cause on why you were drinking, whatever he's going to say or she's going to say. Police officer is going to already knows where you've been because the AI has simply created a route, like a bread route, where your car has been. So if you live in Tampa, for example, and you've been in Ybor and you were sitting in a bar drinking all afternoon, you're driving home, and you say, "Oh yeah, I'm just coming from work," he or she already knows that you were that the car was parked in Ybor, and you're probably going to get a DUI. All right? The video is on my page. The new police cruisers are hooked in with AI, with the camera systems, DUI cameras and red light cameras all across the nation, and the reason why those cameras in most places like Pinellas County, they outlawed red light cameras, but the cameras are still there. Why? They're still there because they need those cameras to track your plate, and that plate is going to tell the police officer exactly where you've been all day. All right, which gives them probable cause to give you a breathalyzer even if you don't swerve. Interesting, right? In addition to that, the dashboards on the new vehicles, which is why they are pressuring everybody into an electric car or a newer vehicle, the dashboards of the vehicles literally have cameras facing you. The dashboards can be accessed remotely. As a matter of fact, if you follow me, I just bought two brand new $75,000, $175, almost $68,000 Broncos. And as I was signing for Ford said, "We're going to use the GPS on the vehicle if you don't pay us to repo the vehicle." They have a camera facing you through that electronic dashboard. If you guys have ever seen my truck, the video's on my page. All the dashboards and everything now is electronic, and they're watching you. The government can tap into it, private agencies can tap into it, and eventually, when the insurance companies figure out a way to buy that information from someone who works in those places, they're going to be able to tell who's driving your car, or they'll make you sign something saying that they are watching who's driving your car, and that will change your premium. This is a fact. It's all there in the video. You can look the company up that I caught doing it. You see all the police cruisers being fitted. You see all the sheriff's office and all of the state troopers' vehicles there. They're all being fitted with the same system. In addition to that, if you drive by a police car now, in the state of Florida, and they turn around and they want to, and they pull you over and you don't know why, it's because as you drove by, the police officer, the car read your license plate and told the police officer, if you have a warrant, if you have a suspended driver's license, if you have insurance, if your registration is up, the cars now read the license plate of every car that drives by them. That is a fact. It's happening in every state. It's happened to me. It happened to me in Florida, which I had a warrant for my arrest. I wasn't even in the country, from a house, a code violation. I never showed up to court. I sued the city of St. Petersburg and got a bunch of people fired. So they did a fuck you and put a warrant out for my arrest for $148. 20 years ago, because I didn't show up to court, I wasn't even in the country, and I get pulled over in Hillsborough County and didn't have a debit card on me, and they took me to the county jail and had to get bailed out for $147. True story. And it was because the car read my license plate. It was because the car read my license plate. And this happened a good 7 years ago. So now the cars are also retrofitted with what the Border Patrol uses. The Border Patrol has been using a system since the 90s that allows them to hear into a box truck and see if there's illegal aliens being smuggled over the border. They have a system that hears into the ground. They have a system that can hear up to 30 miles, right? The Border Patrol system is the same system being retrofitted into the police cruisers. Don't kid yourself. You get pulled over, they can hear everything that you say, and everything that you say can and will be held against you in a court of law. If you don't believe me, think to yourself with logic. The police have a camera on their vest and a microphone. How many people went to jail because of that camera and microphone on their vest? Countless. All right? They now have the ability to hear into your car, hack into your vehicle. It's all on one mainframe. All right? It's the truth. And it's all through AI. And if you Google search the company that I showed you, I even put a picture of what Google said about the company. But if you research that company, they make it their business to integrate systems like your dashboard cam and AI. So if you don't think they can hear and see you while you're sitting in your car, you have a learning disability. And the reason why I'm saying that is because how they're selling it, how they're going to sell it is, police officers are going to say, well, it's for our safety and we want to go home at night, so we think we should know who we're pulling over. And I agree with that statement, but not at the cost of your freedom. Not at the, if you're scared you're going to get shot as a police officer, fucking quit. That's your job. You decided to protect and serve the government, not the people, but the government. It's to protect and serve the government, not the people. If you're afraid of getting shot, do not infringe on my privacy. Okay? Fucking quit and go bag groceries, bro. That's all I have to say to you. That's it. So that is a scam. It's a privacy scam, and I would love to see how this is going to pan out on how they got probable cause to pull people over without this just coming out like it did in Pinellas County. Pinellas County, I guess the wrong lawyer got a ticket through a red light camera, and they literally got rid of all the red light cameras in Pinellas County, but they're still here in Hillsborough County, alive and well. All right, so the police cruisers don't lie because they know where you've been and they can hear everything you're saying, so keep your mouth shut if you get pulled over. All right, next one. Florida's dirty little secret. There's a video on my page I did about a homeless guy under a bridge and an alligator he did not see right next to him. Okay? So you know, people come to Florida and they're not from here. They're from up north or from the Midwest, and they get stranded here. It's the saddest thing ever. I worked with these people for a long time, got them bus tickets home. It's fucked up. There's no work in Florida. If you think there's a better life here, you've missed that train, okay? But people get stuck here, whatever. They're addicted, they're alcoholic, whatever. But they take refuge underneath bridges to stay away from the police officers. Well, because they're not from here and they don't know the dangers, I did a video, it's on my page, of a guy who was under a bridge on Hillsborough River, and if you're from Tampa, you fucking know that crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles and alligators up to 16 foot long swim up that channel, and they mate in the shallow water around Nebraska Avenue as you're going north, or Florida Avenue and Nebraska Avenue as you're going north. And this guy was underneath there drinking. And I literally, there was it looked like a 16-foot alligator. I couldn't see its mouth to tell you if it was an alligator or crocodile. It looked like an alligator. Next to the dude, he didn't even see it. If that guy was to get drunk and fall asleep, that alligator would kill him, okay? And if you think I'm overreacting about this, just this year, just this month, a little boy was fishing with his father in Florida in a freshwater lake. He went to release the fish, an alligator came up and bit his hand off. The father jumped on the back of the alligator and saved the little boy's life. A woman, just this month, or end of last month, was swimming in a place like Rainbow River, or just a freshwater, just swimming. Both her arms got ripped off, and she died on the scene. And her boyfriend got bit up too. I don't know what happened to him. Okay, a guy, the end of last month, was in the surf. He was in the surf, and he was just swimming. Okay, a fucking crocodile came up and bit his ass, and he's dead. So I did the video to make people aware. I wasn't trying to show this homeless man, which is why I didn't in the video. I showed him, you can't make his identity on the video. But Florida's dirty little secret, so you don't stop coming here, is tourism. Florida's dirty little secret is when these people go missing, and it's over 2,000 people per year go missing in the state of Florida that they know of. They just call them missing persons when they fucking know these are animal attacks. Dude, there's the Black Panther down here. You have anaconda snakes, the real ones, saltwater crocodiles, freshwater alligators, black caiman crocodiles from Africa. What the fuck are they doing here? And to make matters worse, every spider, every snake, every creeping thing, and guess what? They're all protected. You can't kill any of them. Why? I think that the state of Florida should be fucking sued into oblivion, since the fake governor says that we have 47 billion in escrow. I think that the young lady's family, who her arms got bit off and she's dead, the little boy who has no hand, and the guy who's dead in the surf, his family, should get a piece of that from bad judgment. You're actually protecting. 100 years ago, alligators were hunted almost out of existence. That was 100 years ago. Time to change that law. They should be shot on sight. They're dangerous. They're 2,000 pounds. Up to 2,000 pounds. They grab you, no one sees you again. I'm not even talking about the bull sharks, right? The bull sharks, 700-pound bull shark. People jump off their dock and get eaten by a bull shark. Okay, that's your stupidity, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about a little boy fishing, or a homeless guy from New York doesn't know any better, falls asleep underneath the bridge on Nebraska Avenue going over the Hillsborough River and gets fucking torn apart by alligators. What are we doing here? They should not be protected, and I wanted to raise awareness about this, which is why I did the video. That is not a scam. That is the truth. I think that the city, the state of Florida should be sued. I know if it was my child, I would sue them. Whether I would lose or win, they would be sued. I think they should reconsider protecting these animals. There's so many of them. The good news is, when the light goes out, we have plenty of food, because alligator tastes incredible. So there's that, just to make light of this serious fucked up subject. Alright, so if you watch that video, that was 100% true. Missing persons in the state of Florida are not missing persons, they are dinner. They were eaten. Alright? Which brings me to the next video, which really, really bothers me. It really bothers me. This scam really, really bothers me. My electric bill was $1,000 last month, $950. Please explain to me slowly in English. Now, mind you, I'm from South Jersey, so you might have to explain it twice. Please explain to me why my electric bill was $950, which is exactly twice the amount it used to be in this time of the year. I've been here since 1999, 98, right? It's twice the amount minimum. Why is my electric bill in my house double? But when my neighbor fills up his EV, his Tesla, it doesn't cost him any extra. The explanation that we got was, well, utility costs are higher because it costs more to make electricity. Well, dumbass, this motherfucker that told me this, I straightened him right out because I guess he thought he was talking to an idiot. It must have been the tattoos. Electric companies don't make electricity. They harness it. It's free. It comes from the sun or hydropower. The earth makes it. Sorry to break the fucking bad news to you. Electric companies don't make electricity. They deliver it. So why am I getting charged $1,000 a month on my house double? Because this lying motherfucker told me that it costs more to make electricity, but my neighbor who charges his Tesla car at places like Wawa, Costco, gas station. Why doesn't it cost him double to fill that vehicle up with energy? Why? Please explain that to me. It's the same power grid. So if it costs more for electricity nationwide in your single family home, why hasn't the cost of charging your electric vehicle gone up as well? Please explain that to me. This is a serious question. Here's the answer. The answer is, like I said to you earlier in this live, the U.S. government owns every company through mandate and protocol. Protocol is a set of laws that those companies follow. They own Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla, for example. So they're trying to push us all into electric cars on the lie of the cost of filling that car cheap. It's cheaper to own one. It's a lie. What they've done is they've taken the cost. They're either lying that it costs more to deliver the electricity or harness the electricity. They're lying about that, or because it's impossible for my house electric bill to go up. Completely impossible for my utility bill to go up at my house. But my EV to charge it stayed the same. It's the same power grid. So they're either lying and they're pushing all of us into electric vehicles, or they're lying about the cost of the power and they're just price gouging. One of them two. So I figured I would do a video on that just to make you aware that when they charge an EV, it comes from the same power grid. So why on planet Earth, like I said, why is the cost of my electricity going up? Electricity, just so you know, I don't do politics, but things like medical and electricity and water, they don't make the fucking water. Why am I being charged? You can't even drink the water in Tampa. Why am I getting charged $140 a month for it? They don't make it. They just deliver it. Why don't I just get a delivery fee? They don't make electricity. Why don't I just get a fee for delivering it? They use the same lines every month to deliver the electricity to my house, month in, month out. Why am I not just getting a delivery charge? Why am I getting charged on usage? And here's why I ask. they got caught gouging and stealing in the state of Florida because people leave the state of Florida for 6 months at a time. They shut everything off except for the main breaker. All right, now I am a master home inspector, contractor, realtor. This is what I do when I'm not doing security. Licensed, you can Google it, right? So I do wellness checks on very expensive pieces of property. When I go, the property's vacant, no one's there, all the lights are off and the main breaker's on, and I test it and there's no draw off of, there's nothing shorted out, right? Got it? So, the property's using no electricity whatsoever. But while the people are gone, they're getting a $700 electric bill. So when we finally caught them stealing, we finally got somebody on the phone who must have found baby Jesus, because he told us the reason why the bill is the same when the people are not there 6 months a year is because they no longer read the meters. They do a square footage average of the whole neighborhood. So if you live in a 2,000 square foot house and your neighbor's home burning, the average house burns 10,000 kilowatts of electricity per year. So if he's burning 10,000 kilowatts because he's a year rounder and you're burning 5,000 kilowatts, you're both paying the same. Told us the truth. So electricity utility companies, we all know they're a scam. You've seen that on my page 100 times. But the fact is, the EVs are also a scam, the way they're trying to push you into it. All right, so just be aware of that. Be aware of that. In addition, there's rolling blackouts. We already had blackouts all up north. They're not talking about it. The reason why you're going to have more and more blackouts, obviously, it's much, much hotter because the earth is going through these cycles, right? It's going through these crazy cycles. They don't know why. They don't know why. So the earth is going through these cycles, so the air conditioners are never shutting off. And on top of that, the power grid will crash nationwide this summer because we're also now charging EVs. There's too many electric vehicles on an antiquated power grid. Now, if that's a false statement, you don't believe me, all you have to do is go on YouTube and find out how many people who were running for president in the last 50 years said that the power grid is obsolete, is dangerous, is open to attack. I thought you should know. All right, so let's move on. So that was true too. So that's a scam. Your electric bill is double because you are subsidizing electric car charges. So you people who own electric cars, don't think you're out of the woods, because the money you're saving by having an electric car, you're fucking paying back on your home's electric bill. So the joke is, I'm sorry, but you bought an electric car probably because you like the way it looks, or maybe you were just you thought it would save the environment, or you thought it was the future, or you just wanted to try something new, whatever the fuck. And you thought it was a lot cheaper, and you're laughing as gas prices are $5 a gallon, right? You're laughing. In the meantime, your electric bill at home went up $500. Now you know why. Bank foreclosures. Bank closures. I'm not going to stay on this long. This was satire, but it was satire because, so you know on my page, under the bio, it says, Scam King, that's me. I figure out scams for you, and I show you where they're fucking stealing and making you sick. But I got to do it in a way it doesn't get my accounts don't get suspended again. So you know, I had 6 million followers. Now I'm back at 500,000 followers on Instagram, above a quarter million on Facebook, and I'm struggling with YouTube. YouTube hates my content because I trash the people that pay them. For example, if you use Google Maps, I've proven that a Google Maps takes you by businesses that pay Google for advertising It'll take you out of your way when you use Google Maps on your car, Google GPS. I proved that. They don't really like that too much. So I got like 2,000 followers on, or 1,500 followers on YouTube. If you'd be so kind, it's the same name, Scam King. Same name, Scott Lubik. You could follow me over to YouTube and help me rebuild that page. But 9,000 branches closed last year alone in the United States. The law says they need to give you a 3-month notification that your branch is closing. They don't. The banks that went out of business in California, everybody said, don't worry, they're FDA insured, FDIC insured, which means that the government will insure your deposits. Okay? Now, I'm not a banker, but I know this because I read the documents I signed when I opened a bank account. If you have $250,000 in your savings account or checking account, okay, and the bank goes out of business, you only get $25,000. You get 10% of your deposit. That is the insurance. The rest, the bank keeps, and you are a creditor. So when they go bankrupt, you get discharged. So your money is not insured in the bank. I'm so sorry to tell you. So do yourself a favor, open an account with some. Here's what I did. I'm not going to give you financial advice. Here's what I did. I went to Fidelity Investments. I opened an account with them. I bought a safe. I own a lot of silver. Okay? I have a lot of cash. Do yourself a favor. Do us all a favor. This is good advice. Okay? Because when the door's shut, like that bank did, and you have a safety deposit box, whatever's in that safety deposit box, you're not getting. You're now a creditor. If you have your grandmother's bracelet, that means more than the world to you. If you have things in there, it now belongs to the bank. You ain't getting them back. You're a creditor in their bankruptcy. You can show up and say, hey, listen, this watch that belonged to my great-great-great-grandfather was in my safety deposit box. They don't give a fuck. They're keeping it. They're selling it off. You're not getting it back. Safety deposit box. And just so you know, if the branch manager's there, she's not allowed to open the door and go to your safety deposit box. I don't give a shit if you know her or not. She's not going to risk her pension or whatever to help you out. Sorry. So just be aware, banks are obsolete. You don't need them anymore. They're no longer able to securitize your money, which means borrow against it without your knowledge. The branches are not needed anymore because everything is electronic. When you apply for a loan, everything is online. So the branches are shutting down, but the problem is the banks are leveraged. There's more houses in foreclosure right now than there was in 2006, double the amount, almost triple the amount. There's more people's cars getting repoed right now than ever in history, okay? And they're not talking about it. They're not talking about it, all right? So just so you know, don't keep all your money in one place. I bought a safe. My shit is at my house. The world could stop, and my shit is secure, all right? Break in, please. It's not worth your life. All right, so anyway, next one, Generation X, guys. Listen, I hate to be partial because I was born in 1972. But we're the last of our kind. I'm not talking bad about people that are older than us. I'm not. But the fact is, Generation X is the only generation on the planet that has not started a war. We're the only generation on the planet that that has not started a war. Right? The oldest, excuse me, that has not started a war. There's a lot to be said about that. If you just think about that one statement, that Generation X, that's us. We are the children. The baby boomers, you can't get mad at them. And the reason why you can't get mad at them is because they were raised by people who just got out of 2 world wars, Korea, plus Korea, plus all, I mean, you just can't get mad at them, and because their parents had PTSD, they drank their problems. These people, really, these baby boomers had a real tough, they had it bad. Us, Generation X, did not have it bad compared to the baby boomers. They were raised by people who got fucked up and fucked them up. Because we now know that when your childhood's fucked up, odds are no one is spared. Everybody gets it here on planet Earth. No one is spared. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets a shit show life, and it's your choice to the way you look at things. Sometimes you can't even fix it. Like, you get a bad roll of dice and you get sick. You get a bad roll of dice and you just, there's no way out. You live in the Bahamas and there's no opportunity. You can't get off the island, whatever. Sometimes there's no way out and it's not your fault. Let's just be real, man. Sometimes you got the wrong skin. I'm just telling you. Hey, listen, I'm a general contractor. Do you know how many people of the other skin called me up and said, hey, Scott, can you do me a favor? That were all like roofers. Can you go and close this deal for me? Can you go and close this deal for me? Because they thought that it was easier for the same skin people to hire me opposed to hiring them. They felt that way. So there's a lot going on. Going back to the baby boomers, they had to deal with these people who were literally fucked up from wars. They were lied to, the whole bit. So the baby boomers were the experiment for the U.S. government. These are the people that will not live without insurance. They won't buy a house without insurance. Insurance is everything. Life insurance is everything. They come out with a new vaccine. They come out, the president of the United States says anything. Fauci came out and said, you need to go get this vaccine, because if you don't, you're going to pay for it with your life. They were in line. I remember Tampa Stadium. There was 3 lines around that bitch. And then it was like going to Busch Gardens or Orlando. You had lines of cars inside for people to take that, to get injected with a plague. Now we know that they're the pandemic. The people that have it, 17 million people have died because of it. And the problem that I have with this is people die when we're trying to advance as a race. Growth is painful. So people die. But the way they use your inability to see through the bullshit, and they use your sincerity, they use your vulnerability. Like, they use the baby boomers' vulnerability to shoot them full of vaccines, to sell them insurance. They use their vulnerabilities to make them comply with laws that they didn't agree with, and things, and racism and division. The baby boomers, I'm sorry, man, on both sides, there's a lot of racism in their generation. I'm just saying, stating fact here, bro. It wasn't until Generation X where we turned around and said, fuck that. Like, I grew up in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Very little racism, because in the casinos you had Chinese, you had all the families from all around the world moved to Atlantic City. You had, you had every everything. Everybody was there. No one, everybody screwed everybody. There was no racism. There was black and white couples. There was, I went out with, every race there is. I went out with, right? I moved to Florida, and my ex-wife, we're still together. She's from North Carolina, and all she does is talk about racism. She's the other skin. All she does talk, because that's how she grew up. She grew up, there was white people and black people, and there was a huge difference. I didn't even know what she was talking about. I didn't experience racism the first 20 years of my life because of where I'm from. Is what I'm trying to say. But the baby boomers, these people, man, they a lot of racism in their generation, and they do what they're told by the government. They've started every war in the last 50, 30 years. They have. They picked up right where their parents left off because that's what they were taught. It was Generation X. We haven't started one war. We're the ones that said, fuck that. And it started with the hippie movement, right? Obviously. And thank God, it started with the baby boomers. It started with the John Lennon folks. Thank God. That was the start of Generation X. And when we were born, when we came into existence, we started questioning things. Just like my whole page is about. I question everything. A baby boomer doesn't think like this unless they've been enlightened. Let me explain. I'm not picking on them. A baby boomer does what is told by the U.S. government. Facts. They're told to go get a vaccine, they go get it. They're told to go to a FEMA camp, they do it. They're told to go to war, they will. They believe they voted and their vote counts. They believe all of these things. They believe we went to the moon in the 60s. They believe in the government and what they say. They believe that we just went to the moon again. They believe all of it. All of it. Okay? They were the most controlled generation that ever was or ever will be. Now, Generation X can't be controlled. And the reason why we can't be controlled is because they don't control people the same way. We question everything, which is why my page is what it is. Okay? In addition, we're the only ones alive, the oldest people alive that haven't started a war, and not only have we not started a war, but we're never going to start a war. We are the generation that is still young enough so when the lights go out, we can rebuild. We're that generation. We were chosen to do this. Because make no mistake about it. In this world, and I went to seminary school for 5 years. If you follow me, you know this. In this world, there's going to be a reset happens over generations, but it also sometimes happens quickly. In our lifetime, there's going to be a reset. And the ones who are going to pick up the pieces are Generation X, are people that they're going to be in their 50s and 60s and 70s when it happens. Still young enough to do something about 50s and 60s. So, I didn't want to leave you on a dark note. I wanted to leave you and just explain that video I did about Generation X on my page. It's got millions of views. I'm not talking about any other generation, Generation Jones. I'm not talking about any of the others. I'm just simply spitting facts here. It is fact, not my opinion, that we've never started a war, and there's so much. We're the oldest generation, the first generation since the fucking Renaissance that hasn't started a war. Something to be said about that. All right? So that's it. That was the live. Do you guys have any more questions about peptides? I know I'm seeing so many comments. Go back to peptides. This is fucking boring. Tell us how to lose 70 pounds. Anybody have any more questions about peptides? Hormone therapy. How to get a remote blood test. Anybody? 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 Get down. Get down. Get down. Go. Go lay down. Go. Get out of here. I got a dog around me who's... No, you're not getting in front of the camera today. My dog. Anybody? Anybody got any questions? There's a delay. That's why I'm waiting here. Anybody have any questions whatsoever? What are peptides? How do I get my hands on peptides? If you're in chronic pain, if you have a chronic illness, anybody, I'll answer any question that is in my lane, like I've been experienced. So you think drugs, but make videos about fake food. So I take drugs. Yeah. So let me just explain that statement to you. I'm glad that you made it. Your intent was to, I don't know, and somehow you twisted in your mind, I give a fuck what you think. But I'm glad you mentioned that. Cures are not bad. Insurance is bad. We live in 2026. We don't take chemotherapy that came out in the 1940s. Okay, we don't. We don't take chemotherapy that came out in the 1940s. We don't take legacy drugs. We go with cutting edge medicine. I didn't say science was bad. I said sick for profit is bad. Do you understand? I never said peptides, which are naturally occurring in your body, or HCG, which is naturally occurring in a woman's placenta in the afterbirth and in the body, is bad. I simply said insurance companies making people sick for profit is bad. When I talk about big pharmaceutical, I'm talking about the corporation that makes trillions of dollars every year making you sick. And what I'm really talking about is the United States government owning all corporations. All right, so here we go. Through mandate and protocol, the United States government owns every hospital, every food distribution company like Cisco, Roma Foods, US Foods, every farm, every car dealership. They own every car manufacturer. They own Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, through mandate and protocol. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, if you think Elon Musk is your friend, you're wrong. Let's put my personal feelings aside. I know the man's a liar. But let's put it aside. If you think Elon Musk owns Tesla, let me enlighten you. If Tesla doesn't do, and SpaceX doesn't do, what the US government tells them through mandate and protocol. Protocol is a set of rules they have to follow. If you don't follow those rules as Tesla, as SpaceX, as Microsoft, as Apple, you cannot do business in the United States. Therefore, the United States owns all business. Because even if you think Elon owns Tesla, he still has to answer to the FCC. That means the FCC, that entity, controls Tesla, not fucking Elon Musk. You got it? So I never said cutting edge medications were bad. And listen, when I was a kid, a doctor saved my life. I never said all doctors were bad. I said doctors who lie to you because they have a $50,000 a month nut and can't tell you to just straighten your hormones and your diet out and you'll be good as new, they're fucking liars. That's what I said. I said all government was founded by criminals and is ran by criminals. Tell me I'm wrong. Every government was taken from some other criminals and then started with new criminals starting running it, right? And then those criminals somehow found baby Jesus, became the good guy. I don't know how the fuck, after they just murdered and executed millions and billions to get the country that they now are in control of. Somehow now they're the good guy. And then in a generation or two, they set down these roles and they set these religions over the people and morals. And somehow, if you break their laws, the criminals, you're the bad guy. Do you understand? This is all I said. I never told you peptides that save lives, right? Or cured my MS, or allow me to take a 4-hour combat class after working out for 2 hours, or allow me to look like this at 53 years old are bad. Never said that. So I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. So anybody else? Any other questions? Anybody at all? Peptides, hormone therapy. Look, I'll give you my number one more time. YouTube, it's in the description. But if you want to get the remote blood test, listen guys, with all the toxins that we have to deal with now, fake food, and all of it, all of this that we have to deal with now, you have to get a blood test once a year, right? Text me is how to. I'm not going to send you a link. I'm going to simply ask you 2 questions, and depending on your answer, I'm going to send you to the right people. They're going to then send you the blood work kit to your house. Then once they send that, it's remote. You never go into any nurse practitioner or any doctor. You never see anybody. The blood work comes back. Once the blood work comes back, they tell you how your hormones are. If you tell them that you've had back pain for the last 20 years, they tell you how to cure it. But if you, once again, if you want to use your insurance doesn't pay for cures. You'll go to your doctor. The doctor will not know how to read the blood test, a blood test. They don't. I'm sorry to tell you, most doctors don't know how to read a blood test. They will look at a 300 testosterone level for men and tell you that's normal because it's the national average. That is, you're going to have a heart attack at 55 and you're going to die between 55 and 65 if you have a 300 testosterone level. I'm sorry, it's the truth. It's fact. You can look it up. You can look it up. Low testosterone causes heart attacks. Low estrogen causes heart attacks, balding, mood swings, all of it. All of it. With this fake food that we gotta now deal with, your hormones have to be like you when you were 20 years old. Only the strong survive. I'm gonna leave you with that. If you're not strong, you will not survive. Okay? Just because we live in society doesn't mean that you will not fall victim to these predators. They're all predators. The government operates like a child predator. Okay? Do you understand? The government operates like a child predator. Alright? I'll explain that. All government was founded by criminals and is ran by criminals. What does a criminal do? The moment somebody exposes them, they try to discredit them. Right? So I'll give you a personal experience of mine. My brother tried to sexually molest me. I told him I was going to expose him. What did he do? He went back to the family and made me look like I was a drug addict. I was a kid. I was 15, 16 years old. I was in the bad stuff. So what does the government do? The government like a pedophile, the government will take someone like me and discredit me if I tell you the truth. Oh, look, he's got his tattoos. You gonna listen to him? He doesn't have any degrees. Yeah, it wasn't the guys with the tattoos that got us in this fucking mess. It was the guys with the degrees. It was the guys that call themselves doctors and lawyers and educated. That's who got us in this mess. Got it? That's who got us in this mess. Not guys like me. Guys like me tell you the truth. Alright? So, the government works like a pedophile because once a guy like me tells you the truth, like they did Andrew Tate was telling you the truth, right? What happens? They immediately discredit you, they put you in jail, and they make you look like a liar, just like a pedophile. Just like my brother made me look like a liar, a drug addict to my whole family because I was going to expose him if I didn't keep my mouth shut. Personal experience. Right. Rape. Perfect example. Woman gets raped. Guy says, hey, if you fucking tell anybody, your marriage is ruined. You know, everything. You're going to lose your job. The works. It's all leverage. Government works the same way. I worked for them. I was a subcontractor for them. I know exactly how they work. In the 90s, they funded, the CIA in the 90s funded, in Colombia, certain cartels to grow cocaine and then to sell that cocaine in the United States. Then they hired mercs, because they couldn't use U.S. soldiers, to guard those cocaine fields. That was my job. You got it? This is who you think you're voting for. You're not. These people that you think run this country don't. They don't. They don't run this country. These people that run this country are evil, and they are not your friend. All countries, not just our country. I'm not hating on our country. All countries were founded by criminals and are ran by criminals. End of story. So, that's it. Now you know why I carry a sidearm. Now you know why everybody threatens me. It's okay. Just don't miss. Do me a favor. So, I'll leave it right there. You guys got my phone number. One more time. Here it is. You text me. Alright. I'll point you in the right direction. We'll get you straightened out. Do the ancestral diet. Do the ancestral diet if you don't do nothing else, and buy yourself meat that is grass-fed and finished. Just so you know, grass-fed means that the animal was grazing on the grass, right? Finished means that animal was killed on that same farm where it grew up and it had babies itself. Finished means it was killed on that farm. If it says grass-fed but doesn't say finished, what that means is that the animal was sent to a slaughterhouse maybe for 6 months, piled on top of another animal, got sick, got vaccinated, got growth hormones because it lost weight, was dehydrated. That is an animal that you would buy at Walmart, for example. We don't buy fucking food where you buy tires. No Costco, no Walmart. You got it? That's the rule. Don't buy food where you can buy tires and fishing equipment. So, at least go on the right diet. And if you want to fix whatever ails you, I'm telling you, these are the cures. But insurance is not going to cover it. If you go to your doctor, he's going to put you on a treatment, not the cure. If you want to be cured, if it's time for you to stop guessing and you want to lose weight and live to be 120 and die of old age, remember that? Remember when people used to die of old age? If that's what you want, text me. If not, continue your journey. I wish you the best. That's it. All right? I love you all. I'm going to end this live and stay tuned because I got some really good stuff. I got some stuff that legit, like if I put it on my account will get suspended immediately. My account would be suspended immediately. So I can't even put it on my account. I'm trying to figure out a way. If you go to my accounts and you look and you see there's a video that's bullshit, I have to mix satire. That's why all of my shit is tagged satire. I have to mix satire in with truth, like Saturday Night Live. Or what'll happen is the algorithm or the platform will try to fact check me, and it'll think I'm trying to educate, to not educate's the wrong word. It'll think I'm trying to I don't know what it'll think, but I have to put on my posts satire, so the algorithm looks at it and says, oh, this is a fucking joke. All right, like Saturday Night Live. Satire means making fun of something very serious and true. Okay? That's why you see satire on all of my shit. And if you see something that's pure satire, like me Navy sealing the cargo ship when I was on cruise, I was drunk off my ass and made the video. It's got 20 million views. That was a joke. If you see the video where I say, hey, peppers only grow green, right? It was a fucking joke, right? Don't unfollow me if you see something that really helps you out. And then you turn around and you see some bullshit on my page because I have to do it this way. Like Saturday Night Live's been on for 60 years. You have to make fun of these things, which is why I'm so good at it. 39 million views last month, by the way. Thank you. Just on Instagram and Facebook. So, thank you. Anyway, I love you, man. I'm out. Please follow me for more and watch the videos. The last 5 on my page are from this week. And stay tuned because every Saturday I do come here, and every Saturday I go over my reels. I tell you what was true and what was not true. And also we talk about peptide. We talk about cures. We talk about cures because everybody knows somebody who's sick. Everybody knows somebody who's sick. So we talk about cures. I give you access to myself. So you can text me. I can't really talk to you on the phone unless you're smoking hot. Women only. Thank you. Sorry, guys. And I'm just kidding. I'll talk to all women. But guys, I was serious about that. What I'm saying to you is we talk about the cures. We talk about how to really lose weight and keep it off. The moment you take that Ozepka out of your ass, Saturday at 10:30. I'm on every Saturday. I take jiu-jitsu karate 4 days a week. I'm sorry. Now I'm taking Aikido karate 4 days a week. So I'm there most of the time, but on Saturdays I make time for this alone. And then all week, those are new videos mixed in with older videos that you haven't seen yet. You know, just so you know, as a content creator, you only see, when you log or you follow me, you only see 5% of what I put out. That's just how the platforms work. You only see 5% of my videos. So if you keep seeing me repost something, if you're stuck in this algorithm, I'm not doing it just to be a jerk. I'm doing it because other people just haven't seen it. Just so you know. All right. So that's it. I'm leaving.